Hello, welcome back to another video. This video will be talking about the teams that have made the playoffs and taking a quick look at our playoff bracket. As you can see, I have a pretty good photo of every team in the league so far that has performed pretty well. And notice that every team's on here, no matter what your team is. Even if you're Panthers, Cardinals, even the Chargers. You guys played pretty good every game that you tried playing, or every game that your team has played. It was a good game. But now we look at our playoff bracket here, and our playoff bracket has some familiar faces and some new faces here in the playoffs. There are a lot of teams who did not make the playoffs, who I thought were going to make it back, but let's take a quick look. So starting on our AFC side, we have the Ravens, who took the first seed. They took they without doubt, were a menacing team this season. Put up unbelievable numbers. My vote, I have to take Lamar Jackson for MVP at this point. I would say he would be MVP, close to it. So, I would say that the Ravens did a good job. So, I'm saying they're well deserving of the spot. Now, number 2 was a toss-up between either Buffalo or Miami. Buffalo won against Miami in Week 18, which gave them the leverage of getting that, second seed. The Buffalo Bills will be at home going against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh we'll get to later. We'll talk about them later. They were a great team, but back to Buffalo. They played some pretty interesting games. There were some games that I think they should have won, and some games that they were probably going to lose there, but they still managed to pull it off. But overall, I do think that Buffalo is a team well deserving of coming back to the playoffs, and I'm happy to see that Buffalo was not out. They were close, but they're not out entirely. Our next team is in the 3rd seed. We have Kansas City back again. Kansas City is, when you're in a division with the Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers, and you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league on your team, you're bound to make it back. But hey, the Chiefs did make it back. It's nice to see the Chiefs back here again. This time, they will be at home against the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill going against the Chiefs? That's a game I want to watch right there. That's a good game. I would say over both these teams, though, the Chiefs were absolutely great this season. There were some downs that they did have, there were some bad games that they had. Even Week 1 against the Detroit Lions, or the game against the Green Bay Packers even. They could have won these games. And they even Philadelphia, they lost to them too. So, when you look at Kansas City, man, there's some teams here that can possibly beat them. And then we move to our 4th seed down, which is Houston Texans. The Houston Texans made it in. It was a great, great run for the Houston Texans. I think that this team really performed well. And it was a weird situation for them getting in because they needed Jacksonville to lose. They needed to beat the Colts, which both things happened. Now, Houston will be going against the Cleveland Browns, who we'll be talking about in a minute. The Houston Texans, in my opinion, they have a lot to really They have a lot. There's a lot to take in when it comes to this team because this team has done a lot this season with arranging their team into taking on teams that are way bigger than them. They went against Cincinnati. Fair, Joe Burrow was hurt, or they went against. Was Joe Burrow active? You can look back at that, but nonetheless, they beat the Bengals and they put some good games up. They even beat the Jags, beat the Titans twice. They beat the Colts, and even then they beat teams like the Saints. They beat, they beat a lot of teams this season. And when you look at the Texans of what their team is made of, this team does have talent. C.J. Stroud, great quarterback, and then Tank Dell, wide receiver prospect you have on your team there. Will Anderson, great defensive player. You have these assets that makes this team way better. Along with that, you have Damian Pierce, you have Jalen Petrie, you have Derek Stingley Jr. These guys really did put this team to like, okay, we're definitely rebuilding, but this is the great start of Houston's rebuild. Going into the 5th seed, we have the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns this team probably has the biggest, probably the greatest story so far this season. And when I mean the greatest story, hear me out. So you start off with Deshaun Watson, right? Deshaun Watson gets hurt. So then you put in DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Put him in, and then he doesn't do too well. Put in PJ Walker, right? PJ Walker does the job for a few games. But then you guys are just like, man, Deshaun Watson's back. We'll let him cook. He gets injured again. So now, what's your plan, right? You don't want to go back to DTR, PJ Walker. So they went to go find someone who wasn't in the league no more. You went to go get Joe Flacco, right? And let me go ahead and say this, man. Joe Flacco really, really showed off. I mean, like, when he came back, it was like night and day. Like, he was killing it. And saying how the Cleveland Browns are here now after getting a guy who's just been sitting on his couch doing nothing right now. I mean, like, you're looking at this team that just grabbed someone randomly, said, man, we're going to put him on the team. We'll see what he does. What did he do? He cooked. You let him cook. So, say Cleveland Browns, great job this season, honestly. Having a lot of tough games. Beat the Niners. Who else? They beat the Ravens on a comeback in the 4th quarter. I mean, like, you have a lot of great games that they had this season, and they showed out. They showed off. So, I'll say that. That's a great team right there. Then we have the Dolphins, which we just talked about. They lost the first seed to the Bills, choked it away. But hey, they're still in the playoffs. But it's just trying to see what Miami's going to do against KC. Like, I think KC is a great team, but you put them up against Miami, man, it's not going to be too hot. I mean, it's going to be a very good game. We've seen them play before. Where did they go? They went to, where were they? They were like Germany, right? There was a Germany game. It was like early in the morning, I remember. It was like 9 o'clock game. And they were playing in Germany. I think Dolphins lost the first time, and it was atrocious. They were fumbling all over the place. But this time, I think the Dolphins, like, this will be a good game. This will be a good game. And seeing KC get knocked out in wild card would be wild. It's crazy. That's beyond me. Then we have the final seed in the AFC, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Personally, I'm happy about them getting back in here. I mean, listen, Mike Tomlin, we all know that this man is the magical man. He's like a 10-year coach within Pittsburgh. He's not had a losing season since 2003. I don't think I'm wrong on that, but I'll fact check myself in a minute. So, yeah. But Pittsburgh has done a lot of great things so far this season. I can't now Pittsburgh fans, okay? There are some games that y'all need to get better at. I mean, like, come on now. You let New England run through, take y'all down. You let the Cardinals get y'all. I mean, like, there were some games that Pittsburgh should have got that they didn't get, but that doesn't stop the fact that they're going in here against Buffalo in, like, wild card weekend. Like, it's not going to stop it. So, overall, I am going to say that the AFC did produce some great teams going to the playoffs. The NFC, on the other hand, had a few odd teams, and this season was odd to say the least for a lot of these teams. So, we're going to go ahead and start with our number 1 seed up top, which is the 49ers. Now, the 49ers, great season. I mean, Brock Purdy is definitely not the MVP. We can all say that. If you watch the Ravens game on Christmas Day, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Brock Purdy, nonetheless, he's not the guy. He's not the guy to get MVP, but he's still a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. But Niners, they had some mistakes this season. Every team has mistakes, but more mistakes than what I saw last season. But now you won the first bye. You ain't playing nobody. You're in the next round. So honestly, it's gonna be a great time seeing the Niners here, first seed, back at it again, in the playoffs. So see what they got. Down to number 2 seed, we have the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas, now, I've made this well clear, and I'll make it clear again. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I know hate is a strong word, but they are a franchise that I dislike. I just don't like that franchise. And I'm pretty sure everyone does not like the franchise. So, Dallas going against Green Bay, I'm praying that Green Bay does something, but even if they don't, you know, I mean, even if Green Bay loses, we all know Dallas, it's not your year, guys. It's not your year. Let it go to someone else. Just get the VHS tape out and just rewatch the Super Bowls that y'all had. Just go ahead. Just pull it out. Anyway, great season for Dallas. Can't really complain about anything here. I mean, they play pretty good. I don't really like saying good things about Dallas, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the team that I actually want to say good things about, Detroit. Detroit Lions actually played a very, very good season. I mean, starting off week 1 against the Chiefs, beating the Chiefs. Can't be mad about that. They won the NFC North after 30-plus years. Crazy, right? And when you think about that, it's like, man, Lions in the playoffs. It's crazy, right? Yeah. And I mean, like, you think about it, and it's like, man, it doesn't hit you until you're just like, this team has been losing multiple seasons. Up to, like, last season, they had 9-8. They could have made it in. They could have. They still had a chance. Now, they made it back in, baby. They're back in it. So, in my opinion, I do think that the Detroit Lions are going to have a great game this in wild card weekend. I think that they'll make it past the first round. So that's just me, baby. So, but I do want to take it with a grain of salt. They are going against the Rams, and the Rams are somewhat of a decent team. So Detroit, hang in there. Our next team in 4th seed is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, proving without Tom Brady that they can make the playoffs. I'm a Falcons fan, right? So the Bucs are rival of us. But as much as I want to say that I'm mad at them, I have to just be proud. Like, they really did a good job. Without Brady, y'all cooked with Baker Mayfield, right? I mean, they still had Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, don't get me wrong. You have Shaquille Barrett on defense, Levante David, too. Carlton Davis, Vita Vea. I could keep going on. Tristan Wirfs. But this team alone, I do think that the Bucs did a great job this season. Y'all had some great games, and yeah, I mean, hey, Bucs are going up against Philly, so I don't have too much faith. But Alright, just had a problem with a microphone just now. Don't mind that. Anyway, I do not have too much faith in Tampa going up against Philly, but I wish you the best of luck. I'm talking to Philly, by the way. I really want Philly to beat Tampa. Going up at number 6, we have the Rams, and then rounding up at number 7 are the Packers. I'm going to talk about these two teams at the same time so we can go ahead and segment on to who I have winning, who I have losing. But so Rams, great season. I did not expect them to make the playoffs, but hey, come from behind. Hey, I'm not mad at it. And the Packers obviously made it in. I'm happy that y'all made it without Aaron Rodgers, by the way, without Aaron Rodgers under center. Y'all did a good job. And I mean, even though it was like to the latter end of y'all getting in, ooh, Rams and Packers are going to be tested mad quickly this season. So, but now it's time to look at who I have winning our games here. I do not know the games in order, so bear with me. But I will go ahead and take my best guess here, right? So, of course, or I don't know the order of these games, so I'm gonna just kind of guess the order. I will assume this game is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then sixth. You know, bing bop, boom boom. So just like that. But obviously, first bye. You know, Ravens and Niners don't play. Y'all are safe. So y'all pray to God that y'all don't get a tough team in the lower seeds. However, let's move on to our teams here that do have to play. So starting with our first game, Cleveland Browns and Houston Texans. I'm gonna go ahead and take I'm gonna take Browns because the only reason why I'm taking the Browns is because I'm on everyone else's side that wants to see Joe Flacco face off against the Ravens, and that will be the best game ever. I want to see that happen. So I'm gonna take the Browns. I'm gonna take the Browns. Next game, Philly and Tampa Bay. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take Philly. They did go at it before. Philly won, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Philly. I just think Philly has more talent than Tampa, and I mean the quarterback position is way better over there. Defense, I'm not entirely sure. I mean they literally have the Georgia Bulldogs defense, so big whoop. Miami Dolphins, Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs because we all know the Chiefs have plot armor when it comes to the playoffs, man. Like, there's no taking out the Chiefs. Unless you are like the Rams from like 2019. I think that was the Super Bowl they went to against the Patriots where it was depressing, like 13-3. You get my point. Anyway, Lions and Rams. I was sorry. I thought I said that wrong. I looked at the Rams and said Lions. I was. Oh God. Anyway, Lions and Rams. Now, listen. I love the Rams, but y'all traded Goff, man. And now y'all gonna feel the wrath of Goff. I'm gonna take the Lions. Y'all traded Goff thinking he won it. Nah, you gonna feel it now. You gonna get it now. Matthew Stafford, you went to go get a Super Bowl. You already got your Super Bowl. Let Detroit go get it. Let Detroit go get it. Let Detroit go cook. All right, then we got Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Listen, hear me out. I'm gonna take Pittsburgh. I like Buffalo, but I like Pittsburgh a little more. You know what I'm saying? I'm more on the Pittsburgh side. And listen, if I had to have a second team to cheer for other than the Falcons, it would have to be the Steelers. And no, it's not because my dad is a Steelers fan. That might be part of it, but that's not all right? The other thing is that, you know, the Steelers, man, they grab more attention. They have my attention more. Like, I'm more intrigued in them than the Bills. That's probably what I'm going to say about them when it comes to it. But I mean, when you look at both teams side by side, Buffalo obviously looks like the tougher opponent, but I gotta take the Steelers, man. I'm taking the Steelers. Then finally we have Dallas and Green Bay. I don't care if Dallas had 15 wins, 14 wins, 13 wins. If they made the playoffs with 2 wins, which is impossible, I'm taking Green Bay. I don't care. I could care less. Okay, Green Bay. Listen, I hate Dallas. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I hate the Cowboys. Okay, Cowboys fans, please. I'm sorry, but just stop. It's not your year. Just stop. Just stop. It's not your year. Let it go to someone else. I mean, Detroit's here for Christ's sake, for like the first time in 30 years, or first time winning the division in 30 years. Let them be happy. I mean, the Browns are here, Texans are here. I mean, let someone else get in, man. You had enough. You have 5. You can wait another like 10, 15 years. But hey, those are my choices for the teams in the Super Bowl. Now, I will say this: for the remaining teams here, I will have a video coming out tomorrow about these teams right here. These teams, like of course, Cardinals, Falcons, Panthers, Bears, but you know the teams that didn't make the playoffs. I have a video coming out about these teams, along with teams that in the playoffs. I didn't do it last year. I'm doing it this year. I'm going to talk about what they did, what they did better. I mean, hey, there's some stuff that I need to go ahead and throw out there. I mean, hey, Bill Belichick left the Patriots. Falcons fired Arthur Smith. Chargers are doing head coach hiring after they trade. They got rid of their interim head coach. I mean, Pete Carroll is now working in the office, part of the Seattle Seahawks office. I mean, Mike Vrabel got let go of. Ron Rivera got let go. I mean, there's a lot to really talk about. And we're going to talk about a lot of this with the teams when it comes down to, like, you know, what's going to happen next season. What should we expect from these teams next season? And there are some teams that were disappointments. I mean, like, Bam. I mean, there were some teams here that didn't do too well. But I will talk about those teams in the next video. Keep an eye out. That next video will be coming out very shortly after this one. So if y'all like this video, please hit the like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.